My friends, welcome to Two Guys Garage. You know the old saying, dynamite comes in small packages? We're getting ready to light the fuse.
That's right. And normally we like to go big cubic inches, big horsepower. But sometimes to go fast and have a lot of fun, you just need to go small.
Yeah, small, nimble, quick, but a little punch underneath the hood.
We're gonna punch it up even more. Stick around.
The first time I saw a Mini Cooper, I thought it was like somebody put some casters on a backpack or something. I was like, that's the weirdest looking tiny car. I just wanted to flip it over, put it on my back and carry it home.
Hey, well, check out what's under the hood. It's a 1.6 liter. This is a 2004 Mini Cooper S. So we got the sport model, but this one has the supercharger on it, making a whopping 160 plus horsepower.
Yeah.
Which doesn't seem like a lot.
No, but you put it in a package that only weighs 2,500 pounds, and all of a sudden, you got yourself a formidable beast. Now, we're gonna get in here, upgrade this supercharger, right? Put a smaller pulley on it, turn that thing up a little bit more, get after the brakes as well, because if we're gonna go faster, we gotta stop quicker.
Yep, and we gotta hit those four corners. We got some suspension work going on, so let's grab some tools. You guys come along, we're gonna have some fun wicking this thing up.
Okay, well, you know we're gonna upgrade our Mini Cooper S, so while we're gonna upgrade and turn it up, might as well do some tune-up stuff as well. So let's dive into this thing. I'll show you a couple little tips, tricks, if you will. So a couple things from the factory, okay, our coil sits here, and it's already got them clocked, right? You see on here, it's indexed. So you got cylinder 1, 2, 3, and 4. Obviously, when you're replacing that, if you get pulled away from the job, you may get confused as to which cylinder goes where. It's good just to, you know, kind of index it here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's the same. So that may save you a little bit of a headache down the road. Obviously, you're gonna do upgrade the plugs. Because we're wicking that supercharger up, we're putting a smaller pulley. That means more turbulence inside that combustion chamber, more obviously air, more fuel. So we went with a little hotter plug. Always good because you have dissimilar metals, and a lot of times to put a little anti-seize on the threads of the plug. Smart to do that. And we got new plug wires as well. So we'll get in here, take out the old coil, redo the plug wires, put some new plugs in there, and get this thing ready for that supercharger upgrade.
All right, now with the ignition system upgraded, now we're ready to turn up the boost on our supercharger. Now the supercharger's sitting right along down in here. It's driven by a pulley, driven by the crank, and it's creating boost, pushing up through the intercooler and down into the engine. Now, by changing this little pulley diameter so it's smaller relative to the crank, it's always going to be spinning faster than it was before, making more boost, making more power. So hopefully about 20 horsepower, plus or minus 4 or 5 pounds of boost. It's going to make this car a lot more fun. Now, we had to get to that pulley. So the first thing we did is remove the motor mounts and all the bracketry, and lifted the engine up a little bit so we have better access to this pulley. Well, we got to get the tensioner off for the belt. We didn't have the tool, but we made one, right? So check this out, kind of cool. Welded on a little spot here to hook onto this bolt. And then this is actually from a die grinder that fits actually the tensioner so we can leverage it against the spring. And with Willie's help, we already got a cotter pin in and locked it in position. So now all I have to do is pull it off and get the tensioner out of the way. And after that, it's the pulley. So we have this cool tool, check it out. You can see it's got the same kind of grooves as the pulley. Now this one's smaller, so it fits a little bit sloppier. But by sliding it in there and then driving it off, right? Now we've got it removed, we can add the new one. So with everything off, we're ready to put the new pulley on, and you can see kind of a side-by-side, the size difference. This will drop on pretty easy, but we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna wrap up this supercharger and move on to some of the other fun parts of this project.
Since its original launch out of Oxford, England in 1959, the popularity of the Mini caught on fast and spread worldwide. Today, Mini exports to over 100 countries around the world. Can you guess how many cars have been exported from Mini's Oxford plant since BMW relaunched the brand in 2001? We'll have the answer after the break. How many cars have been exported from the Oxford Mini plant since 2001? The answer, more than 2 million. In fact, about 80% of the cars built at the Oxford plant are exported to Mini enthusiasts all over the world. This Two Guys Garage IQ test is brought to you by Federated Auto Parts.
Welcome back. Now getting this new, smaller supercharger pulley on our Mini Cooper. It's really cool how this little supercharger pulley works. It's got two collars, two sleeves basically. Now tap the rear collar under the supercharger shaft. Now I'm gonna take that rear collar, put it right in here and line up our holes. Boom, and it actually locks itself in there when it expands. So kind of a cool little mechanism to keep that pulley on here. Also, because it's a smaller pulley, we had to go to a shorter belt. Now I would suggest employing your little sister or something to get her hands down in here because that's kind of a job, wandering that little belt around. And then as soon as we get the rest of this pulley on, we'll get the tensioner back on. Just a couple bolts here. Again, kind of hard to get to back here. Drop this engine back down, button up the supercharger, and get to the rest of the car.
Now, with Willie finishing up that supercharger, let me prep to get on these four corners so we can get that cornering action along with that extra power. Now, we've got a full lineup from Sachs, so it's going to let us replace everything that gets worn out on a vehicle with this many miles on it. So we've got struts, front and rear. We've got our top mounts, right? That allows you to do your turning because you've got bearings, you've got isolators, you've got everything from jounce bumpers and boots all in one kit, and it's an OE quality. So we're going to get everything out of this car that those German engineers put in from the very beginning and all that testing and development. Now, with this valving technology in here, we're going to get faster response, quicker in the turns, and you can see that's going to slide right up in here. We're going to reuse our spring, so that'll sit right on top. And again, this will be our sort of top mount, and you can see the bearing in there. This is what lets you turn the car, and the rubber isolator takes some of the harshness out. So we're just gonna strip off some of these bolts, remove the three from the top, put our assembly together. Willie's gonna take care of the rear, and we're ready to put it back in. Man, aren't you finished yet?
Yep, just got it buttoned up, man.
All right, I got my front end done, got the rear end done.
Hey, you know what? Nobody pays attention to the rear brakes or suspension. Look at this thing, man.
What's wrong with that?
It is beat up, wore out, tired as...
It might as well not even be there. All right, so even though we got all the way around, we're only halfway done because next up is performance brakes. But
yes,
you guys stick around, we'll be right back.
When this Mini came into the shop, the guys noticed a small puddle of coolant underneath it. On further inspection, it appeared to be coming from the plastic thermostat housing. This is a common problem for Minis, but it's easy to fix. The guys picked up a new TechSmart thermostat housing from Federated Auto Parts. It comes with a new thermostat and seal, so you're all set to do the job. As with many of their parts, TechSmart looks at the original failure, then upgrades the component to prevent the problem from happening again. This new housing is reinforced to ensure a long-lasting repair. The replacement job is pretty straightforward. First, make sure the engine is cooled and the cooling system is depressurized. Next, remove the air filter housing so you can reach the thermostat housing. Also remove the MAP sensor and bracket, drain the coolant, and remove the two hoses attached to the housing. Remove the bolts and the housing should come off the engine. To install, reverse the procedure, top off the cooling system and bleed out the air. Run the vehicle and ensure that it gets up to operating temperature without overheating. Then let it cool off. Depressurize the cooling system and check the coolant level. If you're not comfortable performing this or any other jobs on your Mini, take it to your local ASE certified technician. Whenever you're installing new fasteners, it's important to properly prepare the bolt holes. Many people often skip this process, but neglecting this step can lead to false torque readings and assembly problems. To prepare a bolt hole for assembly, you need to identify the correct size of the hole, whether to use SAE or metric, and the proper thread size, or pitch in the case of a metric fastener. Then you can determine the proper tap for the hole size and thread. When you're preparing bolt holes, be sure to wear the proper eye and hearing protection. Start off by using a compressed air source to remove any loose debris or scale from the hole. Next, spray in some lubricant to ensure the tapping process is smooth and doesn't gall the threads. ARP offers cleaning chaser taps in a broad range of sizes that clean the hole without cutting the thread. Begin tapping, rotating the tap 2 or 3 times, and then backing off a quarter turn. Repeat this process until the tap reaches the bottom of the hole. Make sure the tap doesn't bottom out. This could cause it to break. Now back the tap all the way out. It should hold most of the dirt and debris in the hole. A couple of more shots with your lubricant and compressed air, and you're ready for bolts. It's always good practice to use the best fasteners available when working on your project. ARP provides the highest quality fasteners for whatever job you have in front of you. This tech tip is brought to you by ARP, Automotive Racing Products.
All right, let's get you up to speed on our 2004 Mini project.
D.
We upgraded the supercharger with a smaller pulley, more boost and power.
Yeah, and to handle all that in the combustion chamber, we had to get a hotter plug in there, new coil, and new wire.
That's right. Now we got the 4 corners of suspension done. Now it's time for the power stop upgrades on brakes.
Yeah, now let's look at this. A lot of people are under the perception, if they have a European car, that they have to go to a dealership to get those brakes handled, right?
What's wrong with that?
Well, a lot of people, it's like guacamole. It always costing you extra if you go to a dealership. Now, Eurostop, right, from PowerStop, is a complete manufactured dealership replacement. This is exactly what you're gonna get, right, in that European car. It meets all the OE manufacturing standards, all the requirements. It's called ECE R90, Regulation 90, and that involves everything from the pad compound, it's cold performance testing, hot performance testing, brake fade, shear strength, all kinds of test and regulation variations, and you're gonna get the exact direct manufacturer replacement when you go with the PowerStop Eurostop.
Yeah, it even has the European version of anti-corrosion coating, the Geomet, whereas when we look at performance side, right, the Z26 performance upgrade, right, instead of the factory, you get some goodies to go with it. You know, we use zinc over here. So they really separate out, you know, what that Euro spec is all about.
The Geomet is kind of like the European version of our zinc. It's just something that they have as their anti-corrosive thing. They like that look. We like this look.
I like it.
I like it too.
Well, you can see already just the differences, right? You're getting drilled and slotted rotors. You're getting pad compounds more tailored to performance in the Z26 setup. And you can see all the way around, you have everything from all your, brake sensors, your clips, lube. It's a one-stop shop either way, so you can just click and get everything in the kit. I mean, even just the little boots and pins and caps.
Like you said, it's a full-on, every part, piece, component you need, just like it was from the factory. And this is gonna be a lot easier to do, man, because like my dad, he had this wicked way to test brakes. He'd always be like, hey, I did a new brake job on my car, hop in front of it and let me test the brakes. It was brutal, man.
I'm not gonna be that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, quick question.
Yes.
Front or rear?
I'm a rear man.
All right,
All
let's
right,
do it.
I got this. All right, we got some tools, get it happening. All right, just breaking things. Literally, we got the old brakes off the Mini Cooper. Now we get the new pads and rotors on. I want to point out a couple things about this kit. Now the Z26 kit has chamfered edges. That's gonna cut down on that noise and harshness you get from braking. And also included with the PowerStop Z26 and all their kits is any required brake sensor. Now this particular car doesn't have it for the rear, it does for the front. I just want to point out how it actually works, because I think it's freaking cool. So it clips in right here, and as the material gets worn out, it'll wear down to this little plastic piece. And once that plastic piece gets worn away, it's gonna cause a light to come on in the dash telling you to address your brake pads, and their brake pads are worn out. Kind of a cool little feature that's included in all the Power Stop kits, all right? Now my man Kevin is up on the front of the car getting crazy with that, and he'll show you all kinds of cool features up on that end.
My side does have the sensor, and I tell you, it's great that it comes with the kit. But the one feature I really like about this setup is this a carbon fiber ceramic hybrid pad. Now what that means is most of you think about performance being a semi-metallic, and that's what dusts up your rim so fast. But this system here gives you all that thermal stability of a semi-metallic, but the ceramic part keeps that dusting down so your wheels look good. Get it back together quick.
Man, looking pretty good, buttoning it up.
Almost done, almost done.
Okay.
All right, do me a favor. Can you help me out?
Yeah.
Okay, hold these for a second. All right, and I'm done.
Man. All right, that's cool. That wasn't. But come on, I got some cool stuff to show you. You like this? Come here.
Definitely.
Check it out. Got a big shipment in from Classic Parts of America. Now look, stop saying that someday you're gonna get your car together. 7 days in a week, some days not one of them. They have everything you need in these catalogs. They're free, they're full color, from bezels to gauges to clusters, they've got you covered.
Oh yeah, I mean, just think how nice your vehicle's gonna look with some upgrades that you can shop for right with your color catalog. Over 50 years of Chevy trucks, early Camaros,
Yeah,
Novas.
Novas, yeah.
I mean, they have it all. Just check them out. Classic Parts of America. Now you've seen us use one of our favorite tools in the shop. So in Workshop Hero, it's Metal Rescue. It's a rust remover bath. You put all your rusty parts in, let them soak, and voila, nice and clean.
Dude, this stuff is so fantastic. I've used it on clutch pedal assembly with all kinds of, plastic pieces, components you can drop bezels in. Everything's safe to use with it. Rubber, wires, plastic, chrome, anything.
Now it's fantastic, and again, you can just walk away, and when you're done, you got rust-free parts. Now you can get it ready to go, or you can get the concentrate where you just add to a gallon of water, and you're set.
Yeah, man.
Perfect way to get your rusty parts clean.
Man, I love stuff that makes, the whole car world easier. Now, everybody knows nowadays it's not what your paint looks like, oxidation, rust, that's called patina. It matters what your rims look like.
That's what the bling
Yeah,
is.
man, from Sonax. Now, this is their Wheel Cleaner and their Wheel Cleaner Plus. This is great stuff. Even when you spray it on, right? The Wheel Cleaner sprays on green and it turns red, so you can see it actually attacking all that brake dust, that grime, that debris, and so forth.
You know it's working, but it's safe for all types of wheels and lug nuts because it's pH neutral like water. It's acid free, but it goes in there and really works, and you can see the color change and you can see that grime come right off.
Yeah, now the Plus is 30% stronger. They have the tire dressing, and then the rim shield. You actually spray this on after you get your rim clean, and no brake dust adheres to it. It keeps your rims blingy, shiny, and happy.
Yeah. Now, we got a lot of vehicles to clean. We got some great products here, but in the meantime, we're gonna take a break.
Yeah, man. Here, take these.
Okay, one more.
Take this.
All right, give me a- I got it.
Whether it's a high-powered performance vehicle, a diesel work truck, or a daily driver, all engines are susceptible to the silent killer known as carbon deposits. Carbon buildup increases the running time needed for proper performance, decreases fuel efficiency, and can even cause problems like hesitation or rough idles. Carbon deposits can build up quickly, especially if your engine is subject to stop and start driving, cold starts, and excessive idling. The best defense against carbon buildup is a good offense. Try to limit cold starts and idling time. Keep to a routine maintenance schedule. And during your oil changes, add Z-Max Micro Lubricant to recondition your engine. Z-Max uses the oil as a carrier to reach the metal components of your engine, injectors, and turbos to disperse those harmful carbon deposits. You don't have to underfill your crankcase when you're using Z-Max. Just pour in the normal amount of oil, then add Z-Max. Once the engine warms up, it will soak into the metal components to increase lubricity, prevent varnish buildup, and restore power to extend the life of your engine. This tip is brought to you by Z-Max Micro Lubricant. Performance you can feel.
Hey guys, welcome back to our 2004 Mini project. We've got the supercharger upgraded. We've got suspension all the way around. We've got the power and our better brake system, but now we want the feel. So we've got Crown Performance stainless steel brake lines, but they're not just stainless steel. 5 layers of stainless steel and Kevlar is going to give us stiffness in the line, so you get better feel, better response out of your brakes. And these are, DOT approved for racing, for street, and with the one-piece construction on the ends, darn near bulletproof. So it's as easy as literally breaking off both ends, removing the rubber hose, putting on the new lines, and that's about it, except for bleeding. So I'm gonna bleed this thing, and it is go time, so we will see you out on the streets. I'm really digging how this car is running right now, but if you think about it, you're like 10% of this car's weight. So, if you don't mind, could you just get out for a little bit? Because I want to go 10% faster.
Okay. You just want me to hop out?
Yeah, man. Just,
All right.
I'm gonna let these guys by.
Okay.
I'll come back in a little bit.
All right. Why do I have a feeling I'm not going to see you again?
Well, you will. I mean,
you sure?
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Okay.
All right, man.
I don't
See you.
like this.
Thanks,
Happened to me
bro.
in high school once.
Thanks, bro. Oh man, the guilt is killing me. I gotta get my bro.
That was cool.
All right, man, let's give them the rundown.
Yeah,
So,
man.
We got that supercharger beefed up, right?
It's definitely spinning faster to handle that. We put a little more heat in those plugs, new wires, new coil.
Yep.
And how about those power stop brakes?
Woo, man, on a dime. And don't forget, little Sachs suspension all the way around. Well, I tell you what, guys, we had fun. Hope you did too.
Yes,
We'll See
indeed.
you next time.